I want you all to take a little journey with me. Close your eyes. And when you open them, you are magically going to be in one of my daughter's bedrooms in our house in Golden Gate Heights, just across the park. Each night at bedtime, my husband and I share affirmations with our daughters. It's our nightly ritual. After at least 10 requests for various types of Band-Aids or water or pajamas, we read a story together, we talk about our day, and then we recite a list of affirmations. You are wanted and worthy and wise. You are strong and smart and safe and healthy and special and unique. The list goes on. It varies day by day, but no matter what, I always include 3 phrases just before we say goodnight. You are enough, exactly as you are. No one expects you to be perfect. We all make mistakes. Sometimes, as I shut their doors, I wonder to myself, am I saying this as a teaching for them, as a reminder for me, or as an aspiration for the world at large? Many of us have had long and complicated relationships with perfection. Doing our best and striving for high standards are things that we have been taught to pride ourselves on. But personally, with time, and especially with 2 toddlers, I have come to realize just how much of a fallacy perfection actually is. Unlike in school, in the game of life, there is no 100% mark. There is no single right way to balance the trade-offs and choices that make up our days. And yet, in a society that teaches us to compare ourselves to others, sometimes the relentless pursuit of new, better, more perfect can feel like all we know. When perfection is our goal, we can become afraid to be vulnerable or wrong. We stop speaking with each other. We stop asking questions, and we retreat into our perfect selves. On this very day of Yom Kippur, many, many generations ago, back in the time of the Torah, the rabbis teach us that the saga of the golden calf and the broken tablets unfolded. Moses goes up Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments, and while he's up there for a little bit too long, the Israelites lose faith and they build an idol, the golden calf. After descending Mount Sinai, tablets in hand, Moses sees the Jewish people dancing around the golden calf, and he is furious. In his fit of anger, he throws the tablets to the ground, smashing them to shards. Divine negotiations and punishments ensue, and eventually, Moses goes back up Mount Sinai and receives a second set of tablets with a new, very, very slightly edited set of commandments on them. This time, the Israelites take the commandments seriously. They were ready to hear God's teaching. As they wander the desert, the Israelites go on to dutifully carry these new tablets in their Aron Kodesh, their ark, the holiest space that they have. Though the Torah never circles back to what became of the shattered remnants of the first set of tablets, the Talmud fills it in for us. Luchot v'shivrei luchot munachim ba'aron. The tablets and the broken tablets were placed in the ark. The tablets and the broken tablets were placed in the ark together. In God's eyes and in the Israelites' eyes, these 2 sets of tablets were equally sacred, though one was shattered and one was whole. The whole and the broken, one could not be without the other. The rabbis teach us that when Moses starts to feel guilty for breaking this first set of tablets in his rage of anger, God actually commends him for his action, noting that breaking the tablets was a show of strength and wisdom. You see, Moses, the rabbis say, Breaking the first tablets enabled the second tablets to come into being. That gave the Israelites the opportunity to realize the value of Torah for themselves. If you had not smashed the first set of tablets in your fit of anger, the Israelites would not have had the time they needed to become ready to accept the Torah. Humanity needed to go through this trial, and so, thank you, Moses, for showing your anger. You are enough, exactly as you are. Everyone makes mistakes. And Moses, this particular mistake, it enabled our collective future. The idea that there is something fundamentally broken with humanity and that imperfection is a problem in many ways finds its origin right at the start of the Torah, at the dawn of creation in Bereshit. It's a tale you've probably heard before. Adam and Eve are blissfully living in the perfect Garden of Eden. The only thing that God asks of them is not to eat fruit from the tree of knowledge. Other than that, they have no limits, they have no needs. Life is perfect. But, spoiler alert, we don't all live happily ever after in the Garden of Eden. Instead of listening to God's only direction, Adam and Eve disobey it, choosing to eat fruit off of the tree of knowledge, and God punishes them harshly for their actions, banishing them from the Garden of Eden and condemning them to a life of pain and hardship. Tradition teaches us that it is Adam and Eve's fault that they were banished. They were not enough. They made a mistake, revealing a fatal flaw in their characters. The lesson our society takes from this is that flawed, imperfect beings are not worthy of living in God's paradise. Rabbi Harold Kushner, of When Bad Things Happen to Good People fame, flips this paradigm on its head, retelling this age-old story as not a banishment, but rather a graduation. Kushner argues, the story of the Garden of Eden is not an account of people being punished for having made one mistake, losing paradise because they were not perfect. We don't have to feel condemned by the story. We can instead read it as an inspiring, even liberating story, a story of what a wonderful, complicated, painful, and rewarding thing it is to be a human being. The story of the Garden of Eden is not a tale of paradise lost, but of paradise outgrown. Not of original sin, but of the birth of conscience. What if God were not forbidding Adam and Eve from eating the fruit, but just warning them about what would happen when they took the first bite? What if God actually wanted them to eat it, but God needed it to be something that they wanted for themselves? Life will get harder, God was saying, but you can do it if you choose. The Hebrew root for broken is shever, shin, vav, resh. This same root, shin, vav, resh, is also at the heart of our High Holy Day shofar call, shvarim, the 3 staccato blasts of the shofar that pierce through the air in our sanctuary during this season, calling us back to our true selves. Bereshit Rabbah plays with the connection between this root for brokenness, shin, vav, resh, and an obscure biblical Hebrew word from Psalms, sever, sin, vav, resh. While shin, vav, resh, shever means broken, sin, vav, resh, sever is one of the Hebrew words for hope. Brokenness becomes hope with just one shift of a dot. You see, sin and shin are mirror images of each other. To change one to the other, you just have to reflect it, moving the dot from one side to the other. Shin vav resh becomes sin vav resh. With this simple change in perspective, brokenness becomes hope. We see this idea play out in nature with the creation of pearls. Pearls, quite literally, would not exist if it were not for imperfection and defects. in order for a natural pearl to be created, there has to be an imperfection, an irritant, a grain of sand, a speck of shell, a parasite. Something has to enter an oyster shell. In response to this irritant, the oyster secretes a special material called nacre. Over time, more and more nacre gradually coats the speck of sand, and a pearl comes to be. Oysters literally make beauty from imperfection. Without irritants, there would be no pearls. Without imperfection, there would be no beauty. One of my favorite details about our building is that by design, it too is imperfect. You probably never noticed it, but out in our foyer, just outside this sanctuary, there is one single dot missing from the center of one of the gold flower designs. Our new renovations may look and feel perfect in so many ways, and they really are. But even with a literal team of artists in our building painting gold letters on our new walls, we intentionally chose to leave that ceiling exactly as it has been, eternally incomplete and imperfect. One dot missing, hidden amidst the rest. It's a way of acknowledging and embracing the full, imperfect selves that we hope each of us will bring to this space, to this community. No matter who you are or what your background, this is a place where you are holy, a place where you belong, all the parts of you that are broken alongside all the parts of you that feel complete, side by side, together. Genesis Rabbah teaches us that in Messianic times, all human beings will come back to life exactly as we are, blemishes and all, and immediately we will be healed and made perfect. It's magical. Mechaye Metim, it's called, the resurrection of the dead. All of humanity brought back to life and fixed all at once. It is one of the most wondrous and mysterious ideas in all of Jewish canon. Rabbi Avi Weiss suggests that the source of this instantaneous collective healing is not magic, but a shift in perspective. He writes, "They will be healed in the sense that society will not regard these individuals as deficient. In the redemptive world, people will have scars, but they will not be seen as blemished. It will be a world where the scarred will be welcomed and seen as whole, exactly as they are. Through a change in perspective, flaws are embraced. A sin becomes a shin. Brokenness becomes hope." And so tonight, in our new building, and on our holiest of holy nights in our Jewish calendar, I want to remind all of us of that same lesson that I hope my daughters hear each night. You are enough, exactly as you are. No one expects you to be perfect. We all make mistakes, and that is exactly how it should be. At this fractured, precarious, divisive moment in our collective history, when we find ourselves struggling to define who we are and what it means to be in relationship with each other, I want to remind you that you are enough exactly as you are, and so is the person sitting next to you, and the one down the aisle, and the one across the sanctuary. That person, the one with whom you disagree, the one whose version of Judaism and of Jewish values is different from your own. They too belong here. They too are enough. We are all enough, each of us, with our different perspectives, our different opinions, our different imperfections. Each of us, in our own ways, merits a place here in our community. We could not be a community without each of our disparate voices amongst us. When perfection is no longer our goal, none of us is wholly right, and none of us is wholly wrong. when we feel safe bringing our flaws to the table alongside our expertise, when we are vulnerable with each other, sharing our worries, our questions, and our imperfections, and when we enable those around us to do and feel the same, that is when we can begin to build together. It is only by showing up authentically as we are, and by respecting and valuing that each and every person around us is also holy and of value, that we can carve out this next chapter of our collective history together. It is only by seeing this whole room as full of beautiful works of art with missing dots that we can truly be in relationship with each other. As we enter 5786, may we all realize that we each merit being inscribed in the book of life, not just with our imperfections and flaws, but because of them, together as one community. Gamar Chatima Tova, may we all be sealed in the book of life for a good, imperfect, beautiful year together.